Welcome to the Entrepreneur Experiment Podcast 2026. This is season 28, and I am so happy to be back. I love a good rest over Christmas, but I am itching to get going with a new season. This one's a little bit different. This is a Q&A. This is a Ask Me Anything style episode. I wanted to do one of these for a while, so I put questions out over Christmas to people. What do you want to ask me? I'd put it out on LinkedIn and I put it out on Instagram. If you're not following me on either of those platforms, go follow me on Mr. Gary Fox personal account, and it's Entrepreneur Experiment, the podcast account. And then on LinkedIn, you just find me, Gary Fox. I put like loads of stuff up there all the time in terms of direct interaction with you. I also put this out on my newsletter. If you're not subscribed to that, that goes out every weekend. Over 2,000 people get that every single weekend. And it's where I kind of reveal, sneak peek and test things. It's my little lab. So I'll test things there that you might see on the podcast in a month's time. I'll test different format styles or different kind of questions. And it's where people hear about my events first. So go subscribe to that. Right, that's the promo out of the way. Let's get into the juicy questions. First one from Sean Broderick. When does the pod go global? US or UK focused guests rather than just Irish? So if you're watching me on YouTube, you'll see me glance over on my right hand side. That's where the questions are on my screen. You'll also notice I'm in my home studio. I'm going to be doing a lot more kind of content here in 2026 because it's fully built out now as a home studio. And I also will be doing different types of content, different formats. Some of them mightn't be pod style. Some of them might just be going directly on the YouTube channel. So we're going to test up all sorts of things, really leaning hard into the experimental format in 2026. And that answers Sean's question. Are we doing UK and US guests? Yes, we are. We experimented with this in 2025. I went to the UK and I went to the Middle East. They were intentional trips. They weren't just for the jollies. I was testing what kind of reaction those guests got. And I was testing different formats. And I kind of tested one with Dan Lawrence and Dan Murray-Serter in the UK. Little sneak peek here, we're going to be doing deep dive episodes with specific founders or experts that mightn't even be a founder. So obviously we do the pillars of the body, the business, the brain. I'll be bringing on people to do master classes in those areas and also deeper in a specific element of business. So a brilliant book I read in 2025 was Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Gudara, I think his name is. I think his second name is pronounced that. Love that book. Highly recommend it. Go read it. But I'm going to do a whole special around that. So I do monthly dinners for founders, but I'm going to mix up that format as well. Instead of just doing dinners, I'm going to do experience with the founders. So these are people who've been on my podcast. They're now part of my kind of inner circle. And we meet up every month and we talk about problems and network and help each other. So an idea I had from that book was we're going to go behind the scenes in a 5-star hotel. I'm going to get the hotel to show us what unreasonable hospitality looks like. And then we'll have like a little experience in the hotel. Same with the pod. I'm going to bring you behind the scenes on the world's best businesses and the world's best founders. But I'll get them to go deep on one specific area of their business. So if someone is world class on fundraising, or someone is unbelievable at customer service, like the founder of a 5-star hotel or a Michelin star chef, what does unreasonable hospitality look like? And we'll do whole special episodes on that. So there's a little sneak peek. So to answer Sean's question, yes, we are. We've already booked the UK. Definitely going to go back to the Middle East, and the US is high on my agenda. I can actually say now, the US is definitely happening as well. So first question. Second question, Marie Griffin. What do you get help with? What areas of the business and what tools do you pay / contract subscriptions to support the business? Okay. So two kind of questions there. I'll answer them kind of like semi-separately. Best thing I pay for is my team. They're the most important part of the business. So I've Ben, who's done videography for me for years. I've Kevin, who does my editing. And then I hired Lauren in January 2025. That was probably the biggest unlock I've had in years. Lauren was initially hired to help me with clips on social media, and over the year, her role has expanded to pretty much everything. She's like the CEO of the business at this stage. So that's where I get massive help there. And I suppose I probably should have done it sooner, but again, hindsight 2020 and all that. But that is what I get help with, is specialists in different areas, because I think a big mistake founders make is that they try to be all things to all people, and you can't be great at everything as much as we'd like to think we are. you're just slowing yourself down and you're hampering your growth. So that's where I get help. So I get help in all different areas of my business. Ideally, in 2026, what I want to be doing is meeting people, recording episodes, and that's it. By the end of the year, hopefully, on speaking at events. That's hopefully by the end. That's all I'll be doing. In terms of tools, then yeah, we use loads of tools. Again, the team is up here, the tools are down here. If you don't have a good team, your tools are kind of pointless. Personally, for me, Notion is probably Notion and ChatGPT are the two tools I use every single day, pretty much all day. So Notion is like my second brain. Everything goes in there. And then ChatGPT is like my digital assistant. So I pay for the premium version of ChatGPT because I talk to it so much. I use the voice, and that's the biggest unlock I think I had in 2025 for tools, is that using the voice feature wherever possible, because I use it when I'm driving all the time. I commute to my gym in the morning. It's 30 minutes from my house. That's 30 minutes I now use to work. I don't do it first thing in the morning because I'm kind of tired. I just want to have a coffee and chill out. I do it when I'm commuting back. So after the session, I'm kind of full of ideas and full of energy. I'll use the voice tool on ChatGPT, and I can be everything from planning my day to coming up with new content ideas to coming up with like preps and briefs for episodes. Really useful. So that's a huge one. But again, I think everybody in the world is using ChatGPT. I use a tool called Calendly for scheduling. So that's for scheduling meetings, also scheduling guests for episodes. I use Typeform. Again, I've been using Google Forms, and this is one of those things where like it pays to invest in good software. Google Forms was fine. Typeform is excellent. It seems like a really small thing. It's a massive thing. I use ManyChat for social interaction. So if you see me post up an episode with like Dan Lawrence, you're like, I'll say comment, perform to get Dan's episodes sent straight to you. That's a tool called ManyChat. It's very, very good. Again, sounds simple, but it's very, very effective. And then probably my best tool is what is beside me, like my right arm every single day, my Moleskine notebook. It goes everywhere with me. Everything goes in that. That's just the simplest and best tool I can ever have. And then the final tool is Todoist. So I have a little Todoist app on my phone. When I'm out and about, I'll just jot down quick things that I'm thinking about, like tasks, reminders, and then I'll transfer everything across into either the Moleskine or into Notion. If you're starting again, what would you do differently in 2026? I assume you mean starting the podcast again. I would focus on not looking like a podcast. Michael Corcoran said to me over 2 years ago now, he's like, why do all effing podcasts look the same in true Michael style? And I said, I don't know. And I spent the whole last year thinking about that and trying to figure that out. So my whole goal for 2026 is not to look like a podcast, is to look like a media company and showing up in really different forms across all different platforms. So my big goal is to like look different on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and audio, and long form written. That is what I would focus on. Don't just focus on looking like another podcast. Focus on looking like a really cool, unique media brand and have different offerings on different platforms. My headline sponsor in 2026 is Nostra. They have a really unique way of serving Irish companies. Kevin has backed me again in 2026 as he felt we're a fit as Nostra-backed founders and entrepreneurs just like I do. They take the headache of IT away and deliver all the technology and people. But most of all, they speak to clients in plain English, just like we do on the pod. They deliver from companies from 1,000 all the way down to 20 employees. Nostra's tagline is, take control of your IT, which means they give companies a view of what they have, how it all works, so leaders in the company understand IT. Some of you may remember Rory from Rory's Travel Club in episode 421. Rory's Travel Club has over 250,000 customers in Ireland, and yes, I am one of them. If you're interested in offers on 5-star hotels, cruises, family holidays, and much more, then you've got to go check them out. Also, over 250 companies have signed staff up to their amazing travel offers, and it's only €10 per employee for a whole year. So, if you love travel or want to treat your staff to the gift of travel, then head to rorystravelclub.com today or email inquiries@rorystravelclub.com for more info. This episode of The Entrepreneur Experiment is brought to you by Azure Communications. If you're building a brand, how it shows up in the real world matters. just like you see on the pod. And that's where Azure Communications come in. Azure specializes in high quality print and packaging solutions that help businesses look professional, credible, and ready to scale. From packaging and point of sale materials to branded print that actually reflects the quality of your product, Azure works closely with businesses of all sizes to get the details right. Whether you're launching something new or upgrading how your brand appears, Azure Communications helps you make a strong impression where it counts. Find out more at azurecom.ie. That's azurecom.ie. What's one thing that you don't know about me? If you're a new listener, you won't know I lived on a barge for 4 years, and I started this podcast on the barge in Grand Canal Dock in 2019. A lot of the early episodes of this podcast were recorded floating on the barge in Grand Canal. So there you go. There's a little gem. A friend of mine reminded me about this today. She's like, "You never told me you lived on a barge." And I was like, well, I'll remind everybody tonight then. What's your favorite coffee shop in Ireland? Oh, Patter, who asked me that question earlier, is not going to be a happy bunny with this answer. I'm going to have to give you 3 for very different reasons. My favorite coffee shop that I visit every single day is in my gym, Back to Basics. It's called Balance in Tala. Savage coffee, even better people. So Jess and the people that work there, but also all my friends who go there after class, best coffee shop for the crack. Next, I would say in Greystones, it's Rise at the Cove. Unbelievable coffee, but just an unbelievably cool place. It's a social enterprise. I love everything about that. The location is just very special to me. I went there a lot during COVID, and it's just looking out on the sea in Greystones. It's one of my favorite places in the world to be. And then third, because Kat would kill me if I didn't mention it, the Wicklow Wolf in Newtown on Kendy. I go there very, very often. Again, unbelievable people and unbelievable coffee. So shout out to Kat and the Wicklow Wolf. What should someone do if they're stuck between a safe job and a risky idea? A couple different ideas spring to mind here. I'll give you a practical answer and I'll give you like a go get 'em answer. Practical answer is save up enough money in your job over the next 12 to 18 months so you're not under mad pressure. Jack the job in, go pursue the risky idea. That would be my stay in school, kids, don't do drugs answer. The entrepreneur in me is, if it's a good enough idea, go bloody do it right now. Depends on what life stage you're at, right? So for me, with like kids, family, family and responsibilities and just a bit more knowledge, I would now play the cautious route. I would put enough money aside. I would find a partner to come in on with me. I would de-risk it that way. I would start chipping away at it because you can start building now, right? I'm recording this at 9:15 on a Monday night. There's ways and means. If you really want to do it, you'll find a way. And that's kind of my second answer, is that if you really want to do it, you won't be asking me this question. You will have an overwhelming, burning desire to need to do it, and you will find a way to do it. Be scrappy, be lean, go bloody at it, because you either feel that in you or you don't. If you don't feel that in you, don't do it. Next, I mentioned being bullish on founder-led brands on the podcast massively, and even more so in 2026. Does every founder need to be front-facing or only business-to-consumer businesses? So if you're selling to the general public. I'm bullish. I couldn't be more bullish on founder-led brands because I see the impact they can have. I see how I evaluate people coming on my podcast. So few people are actually investing the time to build a founder-led brand. What that means is the founder is the front face of the company. The founder is the storyteller, the chief entertainer, the front face of the business. I see that becoming one of the most killer, unique advantages we have in 2026 and beyond. AI is going to be able to whip up companies in like 5 minutes flat that will look like companies that will be around for 50 years. So where is the advantage there? The advantage is this: me chatting to you in my home studio. You've known me for 7 years now. If you're a new listener, welcome. If not, thanks for coming back. But my whole point is that this is unique, right? This is a unique thing. And I'm even more bullish in terms of like online versus offline. So me taking my online community, you guys, and bringing you to like the Sugar Club and doing things together, unbelievably bullish on that. I think the same works for companies. Why do I care about a specific drinks company? Why do I care? So like, perfect example, this couldn't be more, I didn't plan this. So I'm holding up, if you're not listening on audio, I'm holding up a March On water drinks bottle. I love that brand. I love that brand because I follow Ollie Marchon. I found his content, I think through Instagram first. I think it might have been through, I can't even remember. It's probably through Black Box, I reckon. So I follow Black Box, and then they were posting about Ollie, started following Ollie. And he owns, I think, 4 gyms in the UK. He now has like an apparel supplements company, and he documents his journey. He's an absolute savage in the gym, unbelievable athlete. He's very aspirational, and he documents his life. I have bought, I don't know, maybe 600-700 euros worth of stuff from the company this year, purely based on his founder content. So on a micro example, that's a perfect example. Like, I have no links to that part of the UK. I never knew who he was until he was linked in another piece of content. But now I know every week he's putting out, and every single day he puts out in content I am really interested in. And this goes back to the earlier piece I was talking about where is content going, where is media going? It's going into the niches. So in 2025, he was doing high rocks, he was doing marathons, he was doing running, he was doing challenges. Everything I am doing and aspire to do, he was doing while building a business. So it spoke to me on so many levels. And then when he's selling stuff, it's brilliant stuff as well. Let's not get this twisted here. You know, you can't shine a shite and call it a diamond. If it's not good product, I wouldn't be buying it. I bought it to support him in the first instance. I keep buying it because it's top level quality product, and he's top quality. He keeps providing on the content engine, and he also keeps providing an unbelievable product. So it's win-win on both sides. You can't have a really slick founder brand over here and really poor product over here. So the two have to go together. If you are going to build a founder brand, George Heaton from Represent, he is who I look to as the gold standard when it comes to being a founder-led brand. If you're not familiar who he is, go study everything about him. He was on an unbelievable podcast recently with the founder of Iconic. I can't remember what the guy's name is, but I will link it in the show notes below. George Heaton is the gold standard. And interestingly enough, George Heaton has now launched his own personal YouTube channel to document even more of his life. So if all these people are doing it, they are far more advanced than we are. So they are obviously seeing results, because they wouldn't be doing it for the crack, because it's a huge heavy lift to build a personal brand. You also need to have a bit of personality. You also need to want to do it. If you can think of nothing worse, if it makes your skin crawl on every single cellular level, do not build a personal brand. That is my best advice to you. You can still build a company brand. It's not going to make you or break you. I just think it might take you longer. You might need a bigger marketing budget. You might need to be cleverer with your marketing. You might need to get some brilliant marketing people on board. You can still do both. Like, the era of the big brand has not gone away. The era of the great brand is still here and is coming. I just think you can shortcut that as a smaller brand by being a founder-led brand. There are my 2 cents, and I think it's really, really valuable. Not everyone has to do it, but I think if you're a founder, also think of it this way. Remember I said earlier about just because it's cool. How amazing will it be in 10 years to look back and see your journey documented? It's difficult to do because you'll have a lot of down days, and you'll have a lot of days you're like, this is not going to work. So you must be comfortable with failure, you must be comfortable with adversity, and you must be comfortable with being able to talk about the downtimes. I think it's easier if you're a serial founder. I've started a lot of businesses, I've failed at businesses, I've made some business work, some businesses kind of half work. So I'm very comfortable talking about it because I've seen a lot of it before. I think it's very difficult in the early stages when you're not sure if it's going to work. I think a lot of younger stage founders, like early founders, like Gen Z, I think, when they're like 25, 26 now, they're documenting and they're absolutely killing it. That's who you're going to be up against. So find your niche and find your lane and go play there. What did I want to be growing up? I wanted to be playing for Man United. That's very simple. I want to be a footballer. What company or founder will have a breakout year? Oh, interesting. I like this question. a number spring to mind straight away. John Larkin in the Black Stuff soap company. Unbelievable. I did an episode with him. Go back and listen to that. It was, I think it was 2024. Nearly need to do an episode again. Talk about an operator, ex-professional poker player. He has just a beautiful mind. He's a brilliant mind. So I think he will have a breakout year. I think he will build a company doing over 100 million from right here in Ireland, doing soap. Next, Ashley McDonnell. She is the founder of Irish Fashion Week. She's the founder of Tech Powered Luxury, which is another podcast. Go listen to that. It's really good if you're into fashion or luxury. She is launched her own business. I won't speak too much about it here because she's still in the early stages. She's going to build the Irish LVMH. That is the summary of it. She's an absolute powerhouse. I have met very few people in the world like Ashley. So she is someone I think will have a breakout year. Dan and Kieran from Protex, again, that's a bit of a cheat answer. They're absolute rock stars and superstars. I've called them out here before. I think they're just unbelievable at what they do. Calling them having a breakout year is a bit of a cheat, as in like they've had multiple breakout years. But I think you could see, I have no insider information, by the way, just in case. I just have a feeling about those guys. I think I've seen pattern recognition now over the last 7 years, been on the podcast. It's like it's training me how to be a good picker of people, not ideas, people. And those two are two of the best. So I think they'll have another unbelievable year. And if not this year, something massive happens, 2027. I know I'm smirking, but I have no inside information there either. So Bobby Healy, again, from Mana. Again, this isn't exactly new news, but my hot take there is that Bobby will sell that company for billions of euro in the next 5 years. That's kind of I just feel every time I see him, every time I watch what's happening there, I think he is going to be bought by Amazon or Google or Google in the next 5 years for billions of euro. Again, thanks to our sponsors, Nostra, who take such pride in securing their clients. Kevin talks a lot about immutable backup. It's the difference between recovering from a cyber attack or not. Cybersecurity is made so complicated by so many, and Nostra work to make it easy and flexible so it doesn't stop your business. It's affordable and really delivers, because no one wants to get that attack phone call. Now back to the pod. Pick one company that you met over the past year that you would invest €1 million in. I see where you got the idea for this question. No watered down answers. Pick one and why, please, from Patter Coyle. Patter, you'd make a good podcast host. No bullshit around you. Okay. One founder I met in 2025 who's immensely impressive was Ashley McDonnell. She's the founder of Irish Fashion Week, and she is the founder of Tech Powered Luxury, which is a podcast all about luxury and tech, surprisingly enough. And I think she will have a breakout year in 2026. I would definitely invest $1 million in her. She's just left her massive job with one of the biggest luxury brands in the world. She's incredible experience in the space. Her expertise in the space is second to none. From what I understand of what she's building, she's essentially going to build the Irish LVMH. I bloody love that ambition. I love that scale of ambition. I think Ireland needs more of that. So the person I would give €1 million to in 2026 is Ashley McDonnell. Two other people. I know you said don't water it down, but two other people I would love to give money to, but they won't take it, is Ryan Casey from C11 Recovery and Kat McGettigan and Killian Maloney and Tech Powered Luxury, because I know both of those two would return it 100 times over. So there's my answers. Didn't water it down, Patter, but I had to give people some options at the end. Okay, in the age of AI, where everything seems to be moving faster, what is the biggest differentiating factor for startups? Oh, that is a gem of a question. I think speed is the myth. I think speed is important, but I think it's a bit of a myth. I think it's overblown. There's a great truism in startups. It's going to cost 3 times as much and take 3 times as long. There's this bullshit of like move fast and break things. I hate that so much. Move slow and build things is what I would like to see adopted. I think there's a big myth around you have to go fast and hard and be aggressive. I think that has perpetuated this hustle bro, toxic bullshit tech culture of winner takes all, and it has just created a very, very poor society when it comes to investing and venture and tech, and how founders are treated, and how returns are stacked. And I think if I could want anything in 2026 is to keep trending back towards companies building smarter with less money, getting profitable, maybe doing a small raise to get them to the next level. And then once they're over that, they don't raise again and they just return their investors' money over a long period of time. This thing of like, you have to get 1000x or 100x return on your money. It's just high level gambling, and it just rewards the wrong thing. It rewards really poor life for founders. It rewards everything is stacked against them. The amount of founders I've seen exited from their business because they took on the wrong money, the amount of founders I've seen miserable because they took on the wrong money, the amount of founders I've seen lose control of their business because they took on the wrong money is too high to count. So I think what is the biggest differentiating factor for startups is confidence in what you're doing, and confidence in your ability to make it happen. Authenticity of what you're doing, not pandering to the crowd, not being the AI for this, the AI for that, not pandering to the crowd, going back to building proper businesses and proper companies based on morals, based on proper products, what the consumer needs, and building it in a way that's both sustainable and enjoyable for the founder. So I think that's what the biggest differentiating factor is. Confidence and authenticity in 2026 is what I want more founders to display. Is there anyone you're dying to have on the Entrepreneur Experiment, but it hasn't happened yet? Yes, there is, and I'll call it right now. The Collison brothers. I want to have them on the podcast in 2026. I said that last year, but I'm going to make it happen this year. What superpower would you like to have? Oh, I should have thought about that one more. Everyone says flying, don't they? Or invisibility. The power, I was going to say the power to read minds, but that actually could be a double-edged sword. Immortality would be pretty cool, but then everyone you know would die off, so you'd have to make new friends. I think I'm going to have to say fly. Yeah, that'd be cool. Time travel. That's the one. I want time travel. See, I do these questions on the fly. My one hot take for 2026. I hinted at this earlier. We've come to a crossroads when it comes to hybrid and remote work. People need to pick a lane. I think companies have been too scared to pick a lane thus far. They've kind of hedged it, and now they're backing themselves into a corner. They're making knee-jerk reactions saying, everybody back to the office. And the employees are going, hell nah, you can take that and you can shove it back up. So I think you're going to see a big divide in 2026 in terms of people really pushing back on that, and companies really pushing towards, as companies keep getting squeezed, they will go back to what they think should work, even though that model is no bueno, no more, and that is not going to work. So I think you're going to see the companies who are going to thrive, or the companies, not necessarily, I'm not saying they have to be hybrid or fully remote or anything like that, not at all. I think it's different strokes for different folks. Every single industry is different. The winners from what I'm talking about here are the people who are very definite as to what they're doing. They're not hedging their bets. They're not kind of like, we're a little bit of this and a little bit of that, whatever you're having yourself. Cities are getting killed. Cities are dying from the inside out. Dublin is dying from the inside out because there's no predictability. There's no rhythm. And that is the biggest problem in business. When you do not have certainty, doubt creeps in. And when doubt creeps in, death creeps in. Your business will start to spiral. If you have uncertainty, to use a football reference, look at Man United since Sir Alex Ferguson left. They've had no leaders, they've had uncertainty, they've had no one calling the shots saying this is the direction of travel, this is where we're going. That is what businesses need, that is what employees need, and that is what employers need. They need certainty. We work in the office Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That is set in stone. Monday and Friday are hybrid days. Call it, be done with it, get on with it, put a line in the sand, pick a lane. Everyone is going to do it differently, but uncertainty as well, kill your business. So that's my hot take for 2026. What is the one thing you're leaving in 2025 and one thing you're bringing into 2026? This is the final question, so we'll wrap up here. One thing I'm leaving in 2025, overthinking. Overthinking different moves, overthinking different decisions that I have to make. Decisiveness is what I'm bringing with me into 2026. I'm leaving behind overthinking in 2025. And one thing I'm bringing to 2026 is decisiveness, but also urgency and discipline. So I'm bringing a greater sense of urgency in terms of what I want to do and how I want to do it. And that comes from the decisiveness of making decisions, testing, experimenting, moving on, trying something new. That is what I'm bringing with me into 2026. I hope you like this style of episode. If you do, please let me know and we'll do way more of them. Or we'll do AMAs with different guests. We'll bring back on past guests. I'd love to do that, actually. And you know what? I'm in charge, so we can. I just made the decision. See? Decisiveness. I'll bring on some past guests and we'll do AMA questions with them. That's a new style format we'll try in 2026. So that's a wrap on episode 1 of the new season. We're approaching 500 episodes, so we'll do something really big for that. Might do a live event actually for that. Hope you enjoyed that one. If you have, hit subscribe. So if you're watching on YouTube, please hit subscribe and hit like. I'm a big focus on YouTube in 2026, and I would love your support on that. Drop a comment. I was going to say I read them all. There's never any comments, so please start commenting. Same on Spotify. There's a way of commenting now on Spotify and on Apple. So yeah, just to explain to you, if you are listening on Spotify or Apple, a big metric they pull off is how many people are listening versus subscribed. So the more people I can get subscribed on Spotify and Apple, I know people are like, it really helps the pod grow. It genuinely does. I can see these metrics. I pull these metrics myself every Monday morning, and it makes a huge difference when you see those subscriber levels grow because it helps you in the charts. So as the YouTubers say, smash the thumbs up button, and I'll see you again. I'll see you again in a week's time. And from the middle of this year, we're going to be going up to 2 episodes per week. Again, these are all the different style formats you're going to see. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you do, please actually do send me a message. Genuinely, you have no idea how much of a boost and impact that makes to me. I got a message on LinkedIn today from a guy who said, I've listened to you for 7 years since the very start, and I've just today had the courage to go and start my own business. And honest to God, that message didn't make my day. It made my whole month, and it's only the 6th of January yet. So please do. If it has, the pod has helped you and has impacted you, I really want to do a lot more kind of events with people around the podcast, as in listeners and people who've like led businesses through the podcast and stuff like that. So please do get in touch. I really enjoyed doing the episode. I hope you did too. I'll see you back here in a couple of days.